Welcome back. It's been a while, but we've got quite a few more repair videos for you already. So if you're liking them, don't forget to like and subscribe. Got a John Deere here with a suspected R-shaft oil leak where the dust is all stuck to the oil on the wheel. 8:30 in the workshop today to do that R-shaft oil seal. So we'll jack it up, take wheel off, and then we'll see what we find. You can see it's all wet in there. First job, get the Milwaukee. Milwaukee won't touch him. It really is time for either a fresh Milwaukee. I can't decide whether to go for 1/2 inch or a 3/4. So then 3/4 bar comes out, slacken them all off first. Get the Milwaukee to buzz them off finally. Get it jacked up. Undo them. Bit of a shimmy. Shake the wheel. Get the wheel to come off. Quite long studs these, so I had to use a pry bar just to give it a bit of a helping hand. Move it out of the way. Put a 10-ton axle stand underneath with a pin in. Drop it down onto the stand so it's all nice and safe, so the jack's not got any weight. And as you can see it's all wet around the trumpet housing. But if you actually look, the shaft going into the trumpet housing is dry, which I've just noticed now that the wheel's off. So I've cleaned it all off with some brake and clutch cleaner and a rag, and I don't think it is the R-shaft oil seal anymore. I think it's that pipe going from the centre housing into a union that you can just see there. We get the camera just right, and that lubricates the wheel bearing inside the trumpet housing, and I think it's that pipe that's leaking. So I've cleaned it off as best I can. I've run the tractor, and then you could see it was just starting to weep and drip. So I'm not going to take the trumpet housing off, but to get to that union and have a proper good look, I'm going to have to take all the cab suspension unit off, all the brackets, and a few bits and bobs. So I've got my Blue Point Porter Power. Underneath it, that's that blue thing there, like a jack with all the extensions on it, and that is now taking the weight of the cab. And if you look from the blue rod down, you see there's just a tiny bit of shiny sticking out. I set it as high as I can, and then if the cab does drop slightly or my jack fails, it can only move down the length of that chrome. But when I've took all this gubbins off, I normally drop it down so that there's no oil under pressure. It's just the weight that keeps it all together. So it acts as like a stand that can't fail. What I've noticed for this tractor is I'm not quite sure where it's been in the past, but everything is proper tight. Everything's seized, everything's tight, everything needs wire brushing. A few bits and bobs that like slightly corroded quite bad. So it took me longer than I would have liked to, because everything was tight, and it was tight all the way coming off. So got me long snap-on ratchet, undoing some bolts there for the cab suspension unit. Unfortunately, I can't run the tractor with the cab suspension unit disconnected, but I'm fairly confident it is that pipe, and hopefully when I get all that off the top, I'll be able to see exactly where it is leaking. Here I am just undoing some more cab suspension brackets. Like I said before, everything is proper tight, so I don't know, it just seemed to take ages to get some big lumps off before I actually saw something for my money. But it does come off in a big lump in a minute, that, to reveal the failed parts. Bit of a close-up of me undoing that boss there. And you can see it's where you can see the green bit there. I've wiped it all off, and then you can see the oil flowing through it after I've run it again. So fairly confident it's that. But as you can see here, I'm undoing the nut. And normally when you slack it off, it normally gets easier to turn, where this doesn't. It's just really tight, coming all the way off. undoing that bracket now, 4 bolts off, pull that other bolt out. I think there's a plug and a couple of pipes, and that can all come off out of the way. And then here you can see the little pigtail pipe. You can see my screwdriver there. You can see how it's not rubbed through on anything. I think it's just been packed all full of mud and rubbish, and it's actually rotted the pipe away. So it's more rot than it rubbed through or anything like that, which is a bit weird because it's not that old, this tractor, to have like rotten pipes. So I think it must be like some muck, like cow muck or something quite corrosive has been sat around that pipe, and when you pressure wash it off you can't get in there. And as it's a John Deere, they've all got little O-rings in the unions and the flat face. So the flat face squeezes up against the O-ring, and that's the oil seal. Where a lot of the Fence and Massey's and all the brands, it's like a cone fitting. So there's no rubber O-rings on things. And there's a banjo bolt with another O-ring on it, and you can see how rotted and pitted that pipe is. So gone to the local dealer. They've got one of them pipes in. So happy days. Got new bolts. Got new O-rings. And ready to just go straight in. So I think the customer's quite pleased with this, that it was just a little pipe rather than the trumpet housing having to come off and the re-shimming all the wheel bearings. So what I thought would be a decent job was actually not a big job really in the end. So the customer saved a few quid there, changing the O-ring for a new one. Normally, if it was a pipe that had rubbed through like that, I'd probably braze it up or make a new one. But for the time that the customer wanted the tractor back, it was all rotted. There's nothing decent to braze to. And if you did braze that bit of rot, the hole in it up, you'd end up just with another hole in it further down the line, somewhere else on that pipe. So this time it's just a new pipe and it's no headaches then in the future. And you can see to the left hand side, you can see all the muck and rubbish and everything that you can't get in and pressure wash off because it just sits there. So new O-ring, bit of Vaseline on it, pop it in. And then clean the face up because that's going to have an O-ring touching that face. You don't want any paint or any muck or anything. Just going to hold that O-ring up and let it leak oil again. Problem with these wheels and all that cab suspension unit, you just can't, the best will in the world, you can't get to this stuff to pressure wash it off. It just holds all the muck and rubbish, and let's take the wheels off and blow it all off with the airline, which is what I do after to get all that mud and rubbish out of there. A new O-ring on the pipe there, on both sides. New banjo bolt. And then new pipe. And then jobs are good. Ready for a bit more farming. And that top O-ring seals on the head of the bolt. Local John Deere dealers quite good. Stock a lot of stuff. They're massive stores, so quite a lot of the time they've got what you want in, which is really handy on a job like this where they want it turned around quite fast. Screw it in with your fingers first, so you don't cross-run anything, and then just nip it up with a spanner just nice. Job's a good. So now that we've got it all, that pipe back on, we can now wire brush all the bolts, WD them all, free them all up, and then it's a lot faster putting it back together than it is taking it all apart. So all that's back on now, tractor's running, and there's no oil leak now. So really pleased with that. Probably done myself out of a job there because it was just that pipe and not the wheel hub seal. but customer will be happy. Wheel back on, put the spacer ring back on, oil all the nuts up, wheel back on, and she's ready to go for a bit more. Thanks for watching.